You've seen him star in shoot-em-ups and fighting games, but now the women of the ever-expanding Toho project have become scream queens in the horror game Third Eye. It's a dialogue-heavy adventure game that follows a young girl as she uses her third eye to make friends and come to grips with some really serious sister issues. But be careful what you search for, because this scary story is filled with death, despair, and important story options that haven't been translated to English yet. Koishi is lost. She's an empty vessel that feels nothing and no longer understands the difference between life and death. She's been locked inside of a mental institution and forgotten about, forced to use her third eye to see the true horrors of the world. Little does she know that Koishi is about to go on a brief but eventful journey through a series of nightmarish scenarios inspired by her past trauma. She's gonna need a lot more than a third eye if she plans on surviving the night. At its core, this is a simplified point-and-click adventure game. Koishi will get caught up in 6 different stages, all of which you can readily explore in hopes of finding useful items and then using them to solve puzzles. This mostly boils down to picking up toys, ladders, cassette tapes, watering cans, and other odds and ends, and then giving them to the various characters, which will usually result in you getting a new item that will help to expand the story. Do this enough times and you'll wake up in a new, equally frightening scenario. The gimmick here is that Koishi can use her third eye to see what the world is really like. This will usually change the background and reveal hidden items, as well as show us the frightening truth behind all of our so-called friends. This is also the only way to talk to certain characters, such as a series of animal friends that are all trapped in a spooky mansion. But you can't rely too much on that third eye, because it'll slowly dry out and eventually go blind. Koishi needs to find bottles of special eye drops that'll reverse the bloodshot eyes and allow us to keep solving puzzles and investigating the nightmarish levels. While all this could have easily become repetitive, the developers have done a good job of mixing things up in each new stage. There's a lengthy section of the game where you can't even use your third eye, forcing us to use our intuition to escape the soul-stealing forest. This is nothing like the snow-covered stage where we try to make friends, or the animal-filled mansion of horrors. Each level feels wholly unique, even when we're largely doing the same thing over and over again. Best of all, the 6 locations don't overstay their welcome. You'll have no problem beating the game in a single 2-hour sitting. Now, part of the reason the pacing is so swift is because Third Eye isn't especially difficult. The puzzles are all incredibly straightforward and can easily be completed through just simple trial and error. The different stages are usually pretty small, so there's never a point where you'll get lost hunting for items or characters to talk to. Whenever Koishi gets stuck, it's usually because she's not using her third eye to see the solution. I wish the puzzles were a little bit more involved. I'm also disappointed by the localization. So much of the game is about talking to the other characters and seeing what they have to say, and a lot of that dialogue is boring and clunky. There are quite a few conversations that are littered with annoying spelling and punctuation errors, and a lot of the dialogue was obtuse to an aggravating degree. And then there are the parts the developer didn't get around to localizing. The final 2 choices in this game are entirely in Japanese, so I had no idea what I was choosing. I mean, the rest of the game is in English, but these 2 crucial decisions are in a foreign language. What's up with that? Now, on a more positive note, I like the look of the game. I dig the hand-drawn graphics of most of the levels, and there are a few genuinely effective moments towards the end. The disturbing and incredibly stylish cinemas are easily the best part of Third Eye, and I like that the game is filled with them. Even if you don't end up going through the adventure, the cutscenes are worth looking up and experiencing for yourself. Yeah, they're that good. Third Eye is a short but effective ghost story that has something to say about trauma. Unfortunately, a lot of what it has to say is delivered through clunky, poorly localized dialogue and puzzles that are just too straightforward. The 6 stages can easily be completed in just over 2 hours, leaving you with a compelling horror game that's all talk and no scares. Trust me, you're not gonna need a third eye to figure out what's troubling Koishi. It's pretty obvious. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What game franchise would benefit from being scarier? Obviously this game would, but I would also like to see a Tony Hawk-style extreme sports game done like a real horror game. I guess Sunset Overdrive kinda did that, but it wasn't very scary. I don't know. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back tomorrow with a review of Valfaris. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.